Welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the hosts. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show on Twitter at AAN_pod or at theallaboutnothing.com. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. You may also call and leave the show a message at 803-672-0533. Thank you for listening.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The All About Nothing podcast. Trent Clark, Zach King, Barrett Gruber. It is a post-election show, and the good news about it being a post-election show is the fact that Joe Biden has won the presidency, right?
It didn't take a month. I thought it was going to take a month.
Telling you, man.
I said a month, and you get what I'm saying? Like they're a little. The feathers are riled up there.
I don't remember what was my premonition that it would be done by like 11 o'clock or something Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think both of you and Zach said the same day.
It wasn't being the same day.
What did you say, Zach? What did you say? I can't remember.
I said within the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, go back and refute me. There is evidence, but I don't believe I said it was that day.
No, I'm pretty sure I said that. I believe that it was going to be over Tuesday night. But of course, I thought it was going to be a landslide. To be honest with you, I thought it was going to be considerably more, or it was going to end considerably quicker. I guess I truly believed it was going to end quicker, but I did think it'd be more of a landslide. But popular vote wise, it was a landslide. I mean, the most popular votes for a president in the history of the country. Well, that's pretty sweet.
You know, and the most people that ever voted.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know what the worst part about it is the fact that not only was it the most votes for anyone ever running for president, but it was also the most votes for an incumbent who has lost the presidency. So,
yeah.
And look,
yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't want any of this to come across as gloating. I didn't. None of us did anything except vote. Okay, but
vote. Yeah.
I mean, other than Barry, you helped. You know what I'm saying? You did, when the physical counters, like I don't even believe the people at Chick-fil-A would have been able to count as well as y'all did. Barry. Y'all did great.
Look, I can tell you guys plenty of stories from everything that went on Tuesday. It was let me just say it was easily one of the most grueling, the longest day. It started at, I don't know. I had a hard time sleeping that night anyway. So like I was already awake at like 2:30, rolling around and trying to just force myself to sleep until like at least 4 o'clock. But I didn't. I think by the time when I got up, it was probably about 3:30. I think honestly, I checked into work for a few minutes just to make sure that I had stuff in place. And then I worked out for a little while, and then I took a shower. I was at the polling precinct in Lexington at like 5:15 in the morning. And when I got there was already a guy in line with his wife. Well, his wife was sitting in the car. But at 5:15, there was a guy standing in line. I went ahead and opened up the polling precinct and started, pulling things together and whatnot. The rest of my team showed up. They were there at the latest by like 6. I mean, and everybody was there and ready to go. We had 8 people that worked our polling precinct. We had 9. One gentleman didn't show up. He had some car trouble, so he didn't make it. But
dang, he pulled the car trouble on the one day of the week that he has.
I mean, I can't defend him, but at the same time,
out of 4 years, man, you've been preparing for this job for 4 years.
He's like, I don't think I'm going in today. It's just gonna give him a call, tell him my car broke down.
It was, and in the end, we did fine with what we had. So 6 o'clock, we're setting up. The precinct we had is an American Legion Hall, and it was by all respects, from some of the places that I voted in, it was huge. It was a enormous hall. We had plenty of room. So we set up on one side where you had the e-polling machines or the e-books where you sign in, you check in, and then of course on the other side of the room, we actually put all of we actually created like a square or a circle basically for the polling machines, because we didn't actually have enough extension cords. So what we did was we had one extension cord coming off the wall to basically an island in the middle of the precinct where we had all the polling machines were facing out away from each other. And we had 7 polling machines or 7 ballot machines. That,
you had a Christmas Vacation fire hazard type thing going on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you're plugging it into the wall, it was switching them all out. These voting machines are going crazy. I don't know.
Hold
Flick
on.
the light
Real
switches.
question. Let me ask him a real question now. Okay, like you said you was at the American Legion. Do the places that they choose to vote at, does that place get paid?
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
They get paid.
Yeah, the American Legion. Yeah, the county has to rent the commission hall. They have the county, the election commission has to rent a lot of locations. Some of the locations, they rent if it's like a Lexington County School District, Lexington 1. I know they don't charge for the rental of the schools.
Elementary schools where I voted, and
yeah,
I don't know. I'm first of all, I didn't know they got paid, but much less whether they get paid or not.
Yeah, that's a fun fact of the night. I had to know. That's a question I had to ask because I didn't know that.
Yeah, if it's Lexington 1, if it's Lexington 1, I know that they didn't have to pay for those locations. If it's Lexington Richland 5, they do have to pay. I don't know what the price tag is on that, but I know for Lexington Richland 5 school districts that they do have to pay for the rental on those schools. So we got all set up. 7:00. Jeremy, who was one of the individuals working with me, he stepped outside the door and basically announced to everybody that the precinct's open, polling is open. 7:00. So people started funneling in. By 9:00, so 2 hours of voting. By 9:00, we had 600 people that had voted.
Whoa!
And yeah, it was busy up until, and so. Essentially by, I don't know, it was probably about 7:45, 8:00. I get a phone call from the sheriff's department of Lexington. Says, is this Barrett Gruber? And I said, it is. He said, are you running the polling precinct off of Harmon Road? And I said, I am. They said, could you do us a favor? Could you step up to Harmon Road? We have individuals that are standing in the middle of the road. And I said, I'm sorry, you're telling me that there are adults that are standing in the middle of the road. Sure enough, I walked up there. There are people standing in the middle of the road, and they had already put
because of the line.
Yeah, the line.
People.
Yeah, I'll get into that. So our line, and when we first opened, our line was just up the driveway. After about an hour, the line was up the driveway, down the road, and then took a left down another road and went down about a quarter of a mile. At one point, there were more than 300 people in line. It was.
So let me ask you, did you have to drive to go see all these people, or you had to walk to go see where the line ended?
I just walked. My car was blocked in with people standing in line. Oh, and also, I had several people. If you guys noticed, but I had a couple people. At least there was definitely one that tweeted to us that she saw the logo and whatnot on the back of my car.
Yeah.
And said that she was listening to episode number 2, which I immediately told her, go further up. You're going to want to get into
start on episode like 40 and then move on. It didn't become the All About Nothing podcast that you come to love.
Everybody's like, whenever they came, it's the best episode.
Yeah, I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
Tell her. Look, it always gets better in the end. It's like a book.
It's 39 monologues, and
these are chapters, baby. All chapters. Just telling you what happened during the week.
Exactly. Move to season 4.
Speaking of which, towards the end of the year, we'll be moving into season 4.
This is crazy.
So I walk up to the end of the street, and sure enough, people are standing like in the road. They're standing in the middle of the road. I watched a car pass as somebody was standing on the double yellow line. Car passed past them. And I said, and basically get everybody's attention. I said, ladies and gentlemen, the sheriff's department has been kind enough to place cones along the side of the street to indicate where you can stand. If you can do me a favor and move to inside the cones, that'd be terrific. A couple people went ahead and moved. A couple people didn't. And I'm a smart ass. So I go ahead and basically open my mouth. And I said, okay, I tell you what.
We know who you're voting for.
I said,
go ahead and stand in the street.
Listen, do me a favor. if one of you could go ahead,
this is my streets. God damn it!
if one of you, when the next car that passes, if you could do me a favor, just go ahead and jump in front of that car, so that one of you will sacrifice yourself, the others will learn from that.
And then you're down to vote. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to risk that?
Immediately they all moved inside the cone. So it was, like I said,
they got your joke. You're saying that's what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. they got it.
Yeah. Well, I had texted you that night, I think, that I was like, oh, South Carolina's blue. And then like instantly 2 seconds later, it was like red. I'm like, damn, and never went back. I was like, damn. And look at Georgia's over here.
Man. You know what time it is. Man, for it to take it would literally have to be everybody that goes to USC to actually be able to say they're able to be voters here for it to be turned to a blue state.
Every athletic student athlete
blue.
Did.
Columbia was blue.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're correct.
Look, there were far more there, just population wise of the state of South Carolina. South Carolina was closer to being purple this time around than it has been in years. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at the exact number of votes, and we can certainly do that tonight. But honestly, South Carolina was.
Bear, we know you're down for the counting, man. Calm down. Bear's like, we can do the numbers tonight. Slow down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my voting experience was pretty simple. I waited till we got off of work at 5, hopped in my car, drove up there. There was no line, no nothing. I went in there. Guy looks at my license. He goes, "You live there?" I was like, "That's what it says." And then gave me my swab, went up to the Q-tip, gave me the little Q-tip poker. So I selected everything, and then Scantron printed out.
I'm like, is this a coronavirus test?
Dude, I literally thought for a moment. It went through my head. I was like, is this going in my nose? And then I was like, it's probably for like touch screen. It sure it was.
Let me tell you. So in
this long
in the American Legion Hall. Yeah, no.
That's where they put the PPP stuff. That's where PPP money went. Give them the swabs.
So I'm inside the American Legion Hall. There was like a kitchenette area where there was a window. It's obviously like a serving window or whatever. So we kind of used that as people could approach. If there was an issue, they could bring people over to me and we could work through it to try and make sure people were able to vote. So I'm standing on that side, and the room is completely full. There's probably 60 or 70 people in there, people that are still checking in, people that are waiting in line to actually use the ballot machines. And I'm standing there, and I see this guy coming closer through the line, and I see he's just kind of holding he's holding that swab, and he's just kind of swabbing, and he's tapping his face with it, and then he just kind of
in his ear.
Not paying attention. He takes the thing and he just puts it in his ear and he pulls it out. First of all, I gagged. Secondly, because when it came out, it went in white. It came out brown.
Oh!
I immediately walked over to him and I said, "Sir, let me do you a favor. I'm just gonna I had tissue paper. I'm just gonna take this one. I'm gonna give you this new one. I appreciate it." So I tossed that one.
Gosh.
Yeah, super.
I don't know.
It was hard being a supervisor that day.
Good thing you put all the crayons up so nobody would over there and like, I didn't know there'd be snacks. God. Telling you.
It was
it's such a simple process, and for people to be messing it up blows my mind. It really does. I don't get it. Like you literally had a guy stick the Q-tip in his ear.
And I guarantee you, if I had stopped him, I guarantee you, there was going to be a balloting machine with wax smudges all over.
Oh man, that's jammed up with wax.
No, it's just been like stuck to the screen. That's disgusting.
It would have.
Oh,
those particular screens were not the type that you could go over with like a Lysol wipe and clean. Like you had to use an alcohol swab, and we only had a certain number of alcohol swabs that had been given to us. So if he had done that, it would have extinguished all of the alcohol swabs I had. I guarantee you, all of them would have been gone.
Oh my gosh!
I'm telling you, it was an event. Next time, you guys ought to come and volunteer as well. No,
well,
Hey, man.
I never say never. So in 4 years, who knows what'll be going on?
Hey, look, I'm not trying to have Mayor Giuliani all up on my back saying his people ain't able to see the counter. Like, did you have that kind of problem?
There were
some of those Trumpers like on
yeah.
you, like, hey,
So,
let me see what you got.
So three times I got accused of voter suppression. And I'll tell you one of them specifically because the other two were very light, simple, quick events. They came and went, and it was pretty simple. I actually had to take notes because I wanted to remember everything exactly. So again, these three people, they fully believe that they were being suppressed, that their votes were they were being told they could not vote. One guy was the one that I will remember for probably the rest of my existence because his situation was specific. Middle-aged guy, middle-aged to elderly. I don't know how, I didn't at the time when he walked up, I didn't know how old he was. I know how old he is now. But short, not super tall, maybe 5'4", 5'6" for a male. That's not that tall. Essentially, so one of the precinct workers, and I'm gonna keep referring to my notes. One of the precinct workers, she tried to scan his license, which it was a valid license. It still had a valid expiration date, so it was a valid license. But the address didn't come up when she scanned it. Generally what happens is it comes back up with your address, and then that's what's used to validate that you're in this correct precinct. Yeah. So his didn't come up. And when she tried to search for the county, his didn't come up. So it like literally scanned his address or scanned his driver's license. Nothing came up, which is an indication that he's probably not registered. When you try and look across the entire state, nothing comes up. Okay. So she brings him over to me. And first thing that he says to me is, "Are y'all going to let me vote?" And I said, "Well, sir, I tell you what, let me help you out. Let's look at the voter log and make sure you're in here. And at least try and figure out exactly where you're from or where you're supposed to vote." So check the voter log, can't find his name. He's not in there. I look at the address, and the address on his license actually says West Columbia. It's not a Lexington address, which I'm in a Lexington precinct. So I tell him, I said, "Sir, the address on your driver's license indicates you're in West Columbia," as I'm handing it back to him. And he says, "So they told me to vote here." I said, "Okay." I said, well, who is they? Who told you to vote here? He said, "I don't know. They told me I needed to come here to vote." I said, "Okay."
Well, he didn't have the card, the voter registration card?
He had a registration card. He had his driver's license. So I said, "Okay." I said, is this your current address? And he said, "No." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, what's your current address?" Hoping that that his address was in Lexington. He says, "That's none of your business." I go, "Okay, well, it is kind of my business, because the whole idea behind these precincts and doing this is that you live in the precinct that you vote, so that your vote is consistent with the area. You basically want to make sure you're voting for the things that you live in."
Right.
Not in his case. He did not want to give me any information. I said, "Well, sir, the best that I can do is I can let you vote on a provisional ballot," which a provisional ballot is exactly the same as a regular ballot. It just isn't coming out of the machines electronically, and you have to fill out information on the ballot envelope so that that will be scrutinized by the election commission before they open it, and then they count the vote. And he says, "I'm a veteran." And I said, "That's terrific, sir. I have nothing against you voting. I have nothing against you being a veteran. I have nothing against you not giving me your address." I said, "But in order for this to work, I need some valid information. Otherwise, it's going to have to be the provisional ballot." So in the end, he's fighting with me. He's telling me that, I'm trying to suppress his vote. At one point, he turns around, and in this crowd of 70 some odd people that are inside the precinct, he turns around and yells to them, "This man is trying to suppress my vote." He says, "Who's your supervisor?" I said, "I'm the supervisor." So he's now at this point, he's
help, I'm being repressed. My vote is being repressed.
So he's definitely upset. And the smart ass in me kicks in. And I said, "Sir, I swear to you, under no circumstance am I trying to suppress your vote. I said, I'd like to point it out, though. You're in Lexington, and being in Lexington and being white, you kind of fall outside the demographic of people that could potentially be suppressed. He did not think that was funny. There were several people in the crowd that thought that was hilarious. He told me,
they think it's funny.
Thank you.
He told me
until we close at 7.
Right, that's right. I'm here all night, folks. Tip your weight.
Literally.
So I said, well, as I'm still trying to calm him down, I'm trying to get him back on my side. I said, so sir, which war did you, you're a veteran. He said he was a veteran of the Iraqi war. I said, which Iraqi war? He says 2003. I said, so just so you guys know, I did look at his birth date. He was born 1953. He said he was a veteran of the Iraqi war in 2003. He's 50. He said he was general infantry. I find it difficult.
At age 50?
Yeah, I find it difficult to believe that he was general infantry in the 2003 Iraqi war because he'd have been 50 years old. Now, he's almost 70 at this point. But to be 50 and being marched across a desert for a war doesn't sound right. And then I thought about it. Even if he was in the war 10 years prior to that, he still would have been 40. So none of this is adding up. In the end,
that is a lot.
Yeah. In the end, I did convince him to go ahead and vote on a provisional ballot. He filled out the information he needed to fill out. I don't know what address he put down. He didn't want to give it to me initially. I just kind of let that go. I gave him a provisional ballot. He did scan. We did put that into the system. So he was.
That's when you should have handed him a crayon to fill it out with.
Yeah.
Since you want to act like a child.
Or a Sharpie.
I'm going to give you this. Yeah. Yeah. Or a Sharpie.
So he did get to vote, and he went about his way. The follow-up to all of that is that I'm driving home Thursday, and if any of you live in Lexington or you live in the path that has you go down I-20 west right now for any reason, traffic sucks. They're in the process of tearing out most of the I-20 lanes going west, and they're going to be redoing the whole thing. But right now you have to go into these 2 lanes that are separated. It's a pain in the ass. But so I take 26 home to get off Highway 1, and then on Highway 1, you have to head this direction. I'm getting off at 26 off of the interstate onto Highway 1, and I just happen to come to a stop where I see a gentleman wearing the same coat, same beard, the same facial expression, the same height, perfect. And I'm sitting there yielding to get onto Highway 1. Sure enough, it's the same guy. There's no way it had to have been him. He's walking towards me, and the only thing I can.
And you probably got no.
Yeah, well,
I was just saying, you probably got no cover, no shade on your car.
Yeah,
no, you can see right through you. Like both of y'all made eye contact with each other.
No, I'll be honest. Like at the time, I was wearing a mask. He was wearing a mask. He kept pulling it down. So whatever. But I was wearing a mask, so I don't know that he would recognize me. But I am pretty sure that no one told him to vote in our precinct. I feel like, and not to say that this is, I'm not looking down on him, but I feel like he voted in the closest place he woke up. So my fear is that he's homeless, and that's essentially how all that happened. But if he's a veteran, I have the utmost respect, and I hate the fact that it seems like he may be in a situation where he's homeless. If I see him again, I may try and stop and see if there's something I can do and help him out. But it was.
But that would make sense for him to say none of your business. If he was homeless, because
I ain't got an address, so you're not gonna notice.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've. That seems like that might have been the scenario.
I can see that. That's logical.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Do you remember the number of votes was counted in your precinct?
In my precinct, so there were 3,800 people that potentially could have voted. There were supposedly 1,000 votes that were done absentee, and we had we had somewhere, I want to say like the final vote count that was read through the scanner was like 1,208, something like that. So 2,200 some odd people voted in that precinct, which is, 2/3 of the population of, well, almost 2/3. Is that right?
Well,
No,
then you had to take the machines and drop them off, right?
So
to be counted.
yeah, that was an event. So when essentially, so end of the night, and we only and by about 5:30 or so, from 5:30 till 7 o'clock, it was sparse. There was hardly anyone coming in. If anything, we may have had 2 or 3, 4 people in there at the same time that were voting. And it was very quick. We didn't, the number of people that come through that either aren't registered at all or registered after that October 4th deadline, you'd be surprised. Like there were a couple teenagers that came in with their father. Their father swore that he registered them to vote, which I don't know that anyone can register you to vote except for yourself. But he swore that he had to
vote. Well, he might have taken them to go, like, you have to register for the draft when you're 18, and that registers you to vote. But okay. I mean, he probably took them somewhere, maybe the post office, to do it, which seems a little old timey when you can do it on the internet now, especially during a pandemic.
I think they thought that by doing their driver's license, by selecting the motor voter registration or whatever, that completed it. And I don't know, maybe it should have, but I didn't. They weren't registered. There wasn't any indication that they were in the books anywhere. So, but there were several people that registered after the October 4th deadline, which meant that they were not able to vote in this election. And I don't know which way their votes would have gone. I don't want to assume. So, it is what it is, but there were so many people that came through that either, they weren't showing up in the voter registration, but they showed me an ID card that it was for an address inside of our precinct. And I asked, I say, like, have you updated your voter registration? And they're like, oh, I didn't know I had to do that. I was like, you've lived here. I'll ask them how long, when was it that you moved? And they're like, oh, it's been 4 years. And it's like, you've lived here for 4 years and you've not updated your voter registration.
Yeah.
And
I've kept mine since the last vote we had. I went ahead and got my voter registration for here because it was the first time living here that I got it. And I went ahead and did it again and made them send me one more just to have it again.
I don't blame you.
Just double check it. And I will say this. Every time this is the third time
like
I voted for president.
You never have enough, but you only get 7.
Yeah. Or 4th time technically that I have voted for president. But every time I have voted for a Democratic president, they've won. It's been Barack Obama. I voted in a third party for Trump, so I regretted that. But this time, again, Biden, and they won. So I'll never let us down again. I'll make sure to vote Democratic. I won't jinx it. That's like when they announced they won. I was like, see, Gabrielle, my vote counted. There we went.
There you go. Hey, look. In the end, okay, so and I don't try and pay a whole lot of attention to like the states that are still doing the counting. But if you go and you look, like if you Google 2020 election results and you go click on the state of California, they still have only gotten 66% of their precincts in. 66%.
Yeah, it's so many votes. I mean,
supposedly there's another at least 6 million votes that are to come in. And it's from heavily Democratic populations like, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego. So they know that those votes are going to go, that majority of them are going to go towards Biden. But there is a potential that by the end of this, Biden could win by 10 million popular votes, which is huge. Like for a president, I don't know what the total number of people that voted in this election, but if we're somewhere in the 170 to 160, 170 million range, that is outstanding. That is amazing that we have seen that many people potentially vote in this election. That is huge. And I know Biden.
My number was close though.
What was
I said 3.
You said
3.
300 million.
300 million. You was like, ain't no way. Well, hey, but I'm close.
Problem with 300 million. Problem with 300 million means that we have children voting. We only have 326 million, and we've got more.
We needed that.
Yeah. Well,
we needed all that.
Look, they're still doing counting in Georgia. I don't know if they did counting today, but we've seen the number in Georgia increase. Georgia, I think Biden, last time I looked, was up by 10,000 or something like that.
I was very surprised about Georgia flipping.
Oh, honestly, I'm not that surprised. What Stacey Abrams has done in Georgia to make sure that the voter rolls, look, her organization registered more than 800,000 people in Georgia between 2018 and this year, which is unbelievably huge.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That is crazy. They said Texas almost was flipped.
There was the potential. If it didn't happen this year, I would not be surprised that within either in the midterms elections or the next general election, I totally could see Texas flipping. I think we're going to potentially see North Carolina.
And I was listening to talk. Yep, and I was listening to a couple of talk radios, and they said, man, if Texas is flipped, it's no chance at all. Yeah, other Republicans ever winning another election. Which is crazy to think about.
It's highly likely it's going to happen. I mean, we have so many. Texas is the next California. I mean, it's not just because the minority population, but it is because the demographics of Texas are changing. It's becoming younger. It's becoming more progressive.
Yeah.
Like I said, look, outside of Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond, outside of those areas in California, it's incredibly conservative. But it's not that type of conservatism like Republican conservatism where it's just like die hard, I'm Trump, I'm Bush or whatever. It's genuine conservatism. It's the type of conservatism. It's not purely based on religion and it's not, but it's that moral conservatism too, which I think encompasses people in both parties. But the idea,
we both need a little bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only right.
I said flat out, this country is not blue. It's not red. This country is purple. We are a mixed bag of all the different potential ideas and policies and procedures and everything. The United States is a purple country. It is not a red or blue country. We are not Democrat. We are not Republican. But all in all, the entire country itself is purple. And when we look, I get it. There are going to be a lot of people upset about the fact that Biden has pulled out this win. I'm not. I ultimately for this country, I really desperately think that we needed Biden to win. We needed a Kamala Harris to be a vice president. Holy crap. I said this on my Facebook, but you guys realize we have a woman vice president elect.
Yes.
Not only do we have a woman.
And also,
I was going to say, we have a black woman.
10 years. No, within 20 years. That's what people need to understand. Within 20 years, I think, 20 or 10 years. I don't want to be. But a woman, a black man, and a black. Who would ever thought this?
I'm just going to repeat what I think you said because it broke up a lot.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
We have a black woman. We have an Indian woman.
Yes.
We have a woman. We also this is the first time that we've ever had anyone elected to this high of an office from an HBAC. For a historically black college, which is
Howard.
Fantastic. This is. Mm-hmm. I mean, I am unbelievably excited about the idea. Do I agree with everything that Kamala Harris stands for, or that she's done in her past? No, of course not. I think that she was probably an extremely stringent attorney general, but I think that would grab the right, that would grab the GOP and say, you know what, she is someone that we can count on to be in favor of law and order. That
but she does see some wrong in wrong.
Yeah, and then. And then
that's what it comes down to, right?
I don't necessarily agree with Biden's stance on the predator, the
Crime bill.
yeah, the crime bill of 1994 or whatever. But look,
this is both their chance to change that all.
Yeah,
like this
absolutely.
is their chance. Their 4 years, their first 4 years. This is their chance to actually, and like to actually change some things. But with the House, we don't know the House situation and the Senate situation right now. So as far as stuff that they could get pushed through, Mitch McConnell blocked damn near everything that
I agree.
Obama wanted to do. So with him being reelected again, is like, if we're still in the same boat. But if we get the Senate or the House majority, that will help us out.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know that we're gonna see I don't know that we're gonna see the Democrats take over the Senate in this election. I mean, there is the potential that with this runoff coming up in January that we could get 250. So it would be 50-50, and then Kamala Harris would be the deciding vote on anything that came up that required it, which would give the
and
Democrats,
if you appoint some conservatives, some Republicans to certain parts of office, then you'll have leniency coming your way from them anyway.
So that's the other idea. So with Joe Biden being president elect, he will begin to put together his cabinet. And there's been discussions about who could potentially take some of the positions. Mitt Romney apparently is one of those names being considered for a cabinet position. There's other Republican senators that could also. Now, what happens?
I heard Bernie.
Well,
and he wants to be very bipartisan, though. Right. I think that is a huge. That's so fundamental for him to succeed with everybody. Is right. To not try to please everybody, but have both sides making parts of this decision. Right. I think that is so needed.
So they need Wayne.
Yeah,
they need Wayne too.
Lil Wayne.
No. What's his name? The AJ Wayne or
Wang.
Wang. Yeah.
I'm talking about Lil Wayne coming out and endorsing
Trump. No. We're not even discussing Lil Wayne no more. Like Lil Wayne, like
you're talking about.
He should have stopped. He should have stopped after the Carter 3. If we're being real, it should have been no more Carters after that. He should have just stopped right there.
Carter.
But you know what?
Yeah.
At least Kanye came out and he was like he conceded the because here's the saddest part about
did not win
Kanye's entire run. I'm not upset at Kanye about running. That doesn't bother me. What I am upset about is the 60 some odd thousand people in this country that did vote for Kanye.
It's gonna be more if he runs again.
I told you.
If he gets a full election,
you and Dominique both thought the doom train was coming with Kanye. Kanye ain't got that much pull, bro.
But you don't even understand. Like it was places that couldn't even write him in, wanted to. So with laws being like that, like how they did it, like they had a lot of laws block Kanye from even getting that chance, a fair chance.
Well, he was late.
Run. But
he was
now,
late.
If 2024, watch out. He might be. Hey, the way he was talking on Joe Rogan, he was.
I forgot I didn't even listen to that.
He was saying some stuff that oh man, that was crazy. But oh man. He laid it on him.
I got to be honest. Every time
he was speaking some good points.
Every time good points. What Kanye was speaking some good points.
Oh yeah. Sorry. He went on his rants, but it will always like he would answer the question and then take off. Like that's how he always
did he talk about Through the Wire with his jaw wired shut? Did that come up at any point? No, he didn't
talk about Through the Wire. He didn't talk about that.
I thought Joe Rogan would be like, how did you you recorded a whole album with your jaw wired shut? Yes, I did, Joe. It's not that hard.
He did say how he's becoming like, he became like the CFO and everything of his company. Like he answers all the emails. He's like, nobody writing a check out that doesn't have his name. He's like, if $1 comes out of my account, I will know about it.
What's
He's
this
like,
company?
That's never happening again. What do you mean, Yeezy, bro?
Yeah, but doesn't Adidas make those?
Bruh, Yeezy is a brand. Yeezy is Kanye. Like,
yeah, but
they just make the
shoes.
Just help make the shoe. They
Oh.
help make the shoe. Kanye literally designed that.
They look like bum shoes that you pay $300 for. I ain't wearing them jokers.
So, and hey, look, if you had a pair, you'd be like, yo, these are some comfortable shoes.
Can I just go buy Adidas?
A man that can make a comfortable shoe, I can trust him to be my president. I can trust a man if he can make a comfortable shoe, I can trust him to be my president.
No, quit endorsing Kanye West right now.
I'm not endorsing him, but all I'm saying is don't sleep on Kanye. You can't never sleep on Kanye. He was $80 million in debt at one point in time, and now he's a billionaire.
Trump made bigots comfortable. Just like that. That's what he made comfortable.
He made what?
Bigots. He made bigots comfortable. He's like, yeah.
I mean, but you know what? I honestly feel like they should stop labeling billionaires and stuff like that. Like, because you think about it, they don't say anything about thousandaires. You don't hear nothing about he's a thousandaire. Like, you don't hear that.
Because thousandaires don't go buy baseball teams and stuff. That's why.
But I'm just saying, millionaires and billionaires, like, they should just stop reporting on all that. Because once you put a label on something, it's just stupid. Like, what are we labeling it for? So I'm a hundredaire.
You talking about if you're being? You talking about like Forbes and stuff counts like who's the richest people in the world and stuff.
You just count you're just making people feel bad about stuff they don't have. Like, that's unnecessary. That is unnecessary.
That's
stuff.
Never gonna stop. That's called capitalism, and people want you to know.
I know.
Dude, rich people get that magazine, and they're like, hell yeah, I just moved up from number 24 to 22. And Jeff Bezos be like, I'm at the top. And when I divorced my wife, she was number 2. We split it down the middle.
That's right.
Literally, they became number 1 and 2 richest people in the world.
Yeah, I know, man.
Y'all?
And Dr. Dre almost had it too, but he came through with some legal stuff, and he's in the clear right now. That's what it looks
like. Speaking of legal stuff, so we all saw Rudy Giuliani come up with all those conspiracy theories at that press conference. So is there and Barrett, I wanted to ask you this, and Trent, if you know too, but is there legitimacy? I saw them talk about Four Seasons Landscaping is where they were going to hold it. And then it was supposed to be like a Four Seasons convention center to like have this little conference, but not to look like jackasses. They went ahead and found that Four Seasons Landscaping and held it outside on right in front of the garage. Like put up the Trump thing and everything.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I have. Okay. So when it was announced Saturday that they were going to hold a press conference at the Four Seasons, I initially
landscaping.
But nobody said landscaping at first. Like I was like Four Seasons, like. And then shortly after that, after Giuliani had dropped that out into the Twitter sphere, the Four Seasons in Philadelphia announced that there was nothing planned for them, and that they wanted to make sure that everyone knew that there was not going to be a Trump rally at the Four Seasons in Philadelphia.
Don't show up here.
Yeah. So it turned
not over here.
It turned out that it was going to be the Four Seasons Landscaping was it just outside Philadelphia, near like on the New Jersey side of Philadelphia?
The owner was probably like, "What are you going to pay me? What you better pay me what you were gonna pay the Four Seasons, and I will tape it to my garage door and put it up there."
Honestly, I don't know how any of that was planned. Like, is Four Season Landscaping? Do they do the?
How quick did you?
No, I was just gonna say that.
How quick do you think that was crazy? Know. Like pop, pop, pop.
I don't know, but like
you think they got a team?
and I didn't even watch this. Whatever it was, it wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a.
I watched it because Eric was up there going like, "I love my dad," and
I watched 8 minutes. I watched the 8-minute clip. The 8-minute clip is all you need, man. He was insane. Like, it's fraud, and I can tell you it's fraud.
Yeah,
I can tell you. This is crazy. He's like, it's not happening here. It's gonna get bigger.
Let me tell you, under the tomb of Abraham Lincoln, there's a secret note where they've been hiding ballots in a warehouse, and Indiana Jones knows where they are. Like, you're just like, Jesus, Rudy, calm down. We all saw Borat too. We know what you're all about. We ain't taking you for real at all.
I was gonna ask Barry. I was gonna ask Barry why he didn't have a truckload of mail-in ballots come in at his precinct later on that night.
So okay,
the counting places where that gets that right.
I did want to kind of get into this. So Trump clearly is upset that the majority of the mail-in ballots are going towards Biden. I'm not sure if he remembers exactly how he talked about mail-in balloting and whatnot over the course of the last 6 months coming up to this election, but there is virtually no way that Trump voters were going to mail in their ballots after he and Bill Barr, as well as the guy that's the Postmaster General, DeJoy. There's no way that his supporters were going to submit their ballots via mail. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, he made it sound like there was no way their ballots were ever going to make it to be counted. And now all of the ballots that are coming in Georgia and Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, you know, and one of the funniest things I thought was, you know, that last it was maybe a week before the election, but one of his last rallies was in Erie, Pennsylvania, where he literally stood up there and said, "I was never gonna come to Erie. I could have phoned this in," you know, whatever it is he said, but like he's basically just crapping on Erie. And then Erie went blue. And I don't know when the last time Erie went blue, but Erie went blue, you know? So he caused this himself. Like, I don't know what the potential of without a virus, without, you know, if the COVID-19 hadn't come along, I don't know what the potential of him being reelected would have been. You know, would we have seen Biden as the potential presidential candidate for the Democrat Party? I don't know. Without a virus, I don't know what would have happened. But I do know that if you shit on some of the cities and locations that you go to do rallies, and then you completely crap on mail-in balloting, which has been used for 230 some odd years in the United States. We've had people mailing in their ballots. If you crap on
horses,
if you crap on those specific institutions and those specific procedures, chances are it's not going to go well for you. I don't know who potentially would have been the person running against him, but you know, with all of that, I can't imagine that it would have gone well for him then either. But he, you know,
I would love to know if Donald Trump has ever voted in his damn life.
Yeah.
I would love to know that.
He voted for himself. I mean, you know, he actually,
outside of being like,
president.
I walk up to the box and put me. Yeah, no, outside of that. Did he come down from his golden tower and do it? No.
I suspect he probably has, because with the amount of money he has donated to campaigns, I have a feeling
that, I can believe that too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's my vote.
Yeah, well,
money.
Potentially.
Can I
go ahead and just say too that the memes have been on point since the president-elect and vice president-elect fire straight.
I told my girlfriend, I told her like 2 days ago, I was like, can you imagine the memes that are being created right now that haven't been released because they don't know who's the president yet? She was like, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I held on to mine until they said it.
I was like, babe, I've been thinking about this. Like the memes that people probably were creating and weren't letting go. Like, think about the Joe Biden memes people have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now they're having to like delete them and
tuck right now.
You know, and we can talk more about this. But one of the things that really bugs me about the some of the memes and things that they put out there about Joe Biden really irritate me is the pedophile ones. They don't make any sense.
Yeah, there's no basis for it at all.
I get it. There's some
whenever your president is there with Jeffrey.
Exactly.
They literally have pictures. Like,
yeah, there's no pictures of Joe Biden hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah,
no.
One I don't think you can accuse Joe Biden of is his connections to Jeffrey Epstein, a literal pedophile, like was being held in jail because of his connections and procedure or ties and whatnot to a pedophile sex ring. So he had an island in the Caribbean where he hosted pedophile sex orgies. I mean, like,
yeah.
And we
They've
know
been real quiet about Giselle, or whatever her name is. They've been real quiet about her lately.
Yeah.
Somebody need to go check on that cell and make sure she's doing okay, because
they need to just put her in the bottom of a well, like, damn, and keep her there and put a lid on and be like, no one's gonna climb down there and get you.
She's gonna talk.
Yeah.
She's gonna talk.
I think she's the type that will talk to save herself, especially now.
Yeah, definitely gonna talk.
That it's unlikely if they don't bring charges against her. There is a potential if they don't bring charges against her until after the inauguration that she may talk just because she knows there's no chance of her getting a pardon out of Biden. The only way that she's going to get any sort of leniency is if she talks. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Let's see.
Let her talk.
I still want to continue talking about. I still want to continue. That's Rolling Stone. That was published before his the announcement of his win, right?
Is that Jim Carrey?
No.
That's Jim Carrey right there, man.
Did
That's
you
Rolling Stones, you jerk off?
Hey, if you haven't seen Dave Chappelle's monologue from Saturday Night Live last night, definitely.
I have not. Don't ruin it. I'm gonna watch it tonight. Watching it tonight.
A small clip.
Yeah, I won't say anything. All I'll say is, all I'll say is, it was uncomfortably real. It was, and that's the way Dave Chappelle does it. But it was. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, or if you got SNL recorded from last night, definitely watch it, because it was on point and it was extremely real. And I know.
Can we liken it to his stand-up that he did, his COVID stand-up? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic. Like I said, on point, absolutely real. And
we've been waiting for Gabrielle to sleep, baby to calm down. We're both like sentient and not having to take care of her for a moment. Like, I left because I had to change a diaper. I heard her crying and I was like, "Can I help?" She's crying, and I just went and changed the diaper real quick. So hopefully she'll be full and fed when this is over, and we'll be ready to sit down and watch it.
There you go.
Dave Chappelle's, man,
baby.
God, man, I can't believe we're blessed. We're blessed to see Dave Chappelle back. Just imagine if Dave Chappelle would have never came back, bro.
We needed him.
Yeah,
we definitely needed Dave Chappelle, man.
He needs another Chappelle show to come back or something.
No,
he could run a Maury type show for all I damn care.
He can do whatever he wants. But they say he's doing something out there in where's he from? Ohio?
Yeah, he does some.
He's bringing like all these. He's bringing like all these comedians, and everything they're doing, they're taping.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Hart's been up there. Like what's the guy name that was on Saturday Night Live y'all was talking about before?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Oh yeah,
he was up there.
Boy, that was an uncomfortable episode to watch. Did you watch that one?
It was.
Holy cow.
He made people uncomfortable, but that's what he does. I love it though.
I don't mind it. It was just, but it was very uncomfortable to watch.
I loved it when he talked about white women. He's like, "You wouldn't hijack that Me Too thing," and he's like, "Sit down and take your talking to." Yeah, I loved it. He told white girls to sit down and take their talking to, just like the white guys have to. I thought that was great. Sit down and take your talking to.
Have you seen that movie? Have you seen that movie that he did with Pete Davidson?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island.
No.
It was fantastic. Oh, excellent.
Well, I tell you what. Go ahead. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I was just saying, anything Bill Burr does, you might get a little offended, but he speaks the truth and he's not a bad guy. His podcast it's Monday Morning Thoughts with Bill Burr. He literally will sit there and talk about how much baseball's pissing him off. It could be anything. He's fantastic. He's definitely one of those guys who grew up rough and we'll just give you his peace of mind, and you can take it or leave it. But
I
that's
thought-
what made the whole SNL kind of cringeworthy. You were like, yeah, Bill Burr's not an actor like that when it comes to like improv.
Yeah, exactly. When we were about 2 months into the COVID thing, I think Jimmy Kimmel was doing this thing where he would drive to comedians' houses to let them do. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. It might have been Conan. I can't remember, but it was one of the late night guys, and he would drive.
It was
to
Conan.
the,
It was Conan.
It was Conan. Okay,
It was
So
because he did it with Patton Oswalt too.
Well, he did it with Bill Burr as well. He let him. Like when he showed up, and you got to YouTube it. It's much funnier than I'll describe it. But basically, he let him do like let him do a stand up monologue or whatever, like in his driveway for the show. It was fantastic. It was really good.
That is awesome.
We're going to take a break here in a second. We'll come back, and I think what we'll probably talk about is what we think is going to happen from this point on until the inauguration, because there is still a lot to come. There's still a lot of things that have to happen before we get to that point.
Well, can we give them the song that they missed last time? We're sorry about that technical error.
Tell me which song it was again.
Teardrops.
That's right. Yeah, we'll do Teardrops this time. And I will not make it fade out like I did last time. That was totally on me.
He will not.
Totally on me. So real quick, this All About Nothing podcast.
Hey, players mess up too. I said players mess up too, man.
That's yeah. I hear you.
We'll be right back.
We'll be back in just a second. But first, let me say this podcast is brought to you by Zachary Williams, certified massage therapist at the White Knoll Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Zach is a veteran of the United States Army and is an attentive to all of his patients, their health and well-being. Appointments are available by calling 803-727-4520. And as a special to our listeners and viewers, if you mention that you heard the ad here on the All About Nothing podcast, Zach will apply a 25% discount to your first appointment. Just mention the All About Nothing, and he'll take care of that. All appointments are available, again, at the White Knoll Chiropractic and Wellness Center near Red Bank, just south of Lexington, South Carolina. Give Zach a call to schedule an appointment, 803-727-4520. We will be right back. All right, that is. Actually, I'm going to let Zach tell us what it was.
That was Teardrops by Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon. It's Green Day right here. Hey, so actually, I'm gonna fade this one out. We're good.
At least it wasn't. Who was it last time? Ariana?
No, it was Taylor Swift.
What song was played after?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift. Yeah. Okay.
That was just for Zach.
No
Hey.
hates for T Swift.
Oh, okay.
No, of course not. No. How could you?
America's Sweetheart.
Yeah, I don't hate her.
Hey, listen, we're still taking our leave it in 2020. We still have a growing list of what we want to leave in 2020. So if you haven't already, then definitely you can tweet to us. It's the at AAN_pod. You can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533, or you can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. We will get those. Also, if you're listening to us on any one of the podcast platforms, please subscribe, rate, review, leave comments, whatever. Clearly we're on Facebook. You can find all the links on our website, theallaboutnothing.com. We try to keep that as up to date as possible. So with everything that has happened so far with this election, now that we have a presumptive winner, we're still seeing Georgia count the votes. They're going to have a recount, but it won't make any difference. Recounts really only accomplish finding usually somewhere in the range of 1 to 250 votes. I mean, it literally does almost nothing. There's almost no point to it. So honestly, recounts in Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, potentially in Arizona and Nevada, it won't make a difference because Biden's lead is far greater than what generally we see recounts accomplish.
It's a massive lead, and in everywhere except for Georgia, really. Right?
And Georgia's still up by 10,000. I mean, the lead in Georgia just continues to grow, and they're virtually done. So and it's within Trump's right to request a recount. So it's not like it's absurd. It's absurd to think that he wouldn't, and that's fine. I have nothing against that. I just don't think it's going to accomplish anything. I think that ultimately it's going to have the exact same effect as what we have now, which is Biden is the president-elect. So
the harm that comes from it is the conspiracy theories, the unfounded claims, the horse shit that he's piling on top of it to justify even doing it.
And there is a ton of that.
Well, even like you're saying, Zach, like it makes sense that Trump was ahead at first because, like you said earlier, Barry, like his supporters, they actually went out and voted.
Exactly.
Of course, all the mail-in ballots are going to come in afterwards of the people who trust the mail-in ballots, who aren't your supporters.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it only makes sense that he was ahead at first, and at the end of the night, it switched.
Yeah, and that was, honestly, I don't know what his expectations were with that. Did he think? And don't get me wrong. I mean, there was still 70-something million people that voted in favor of Trump, and I don't want to. One of the things I've heard people say in a couple podcasts I listen to is that these are people that are in favor of racism. They're in favor of bigotry. They're in favor of math.
That's too broad of a brush.
It is. I can't define 70 million people as that. There may be a sect of them that are potentially that way. But honestly, I think I have to assume that yes, people should be smarter and people should not vote just on party lines ever. I think that is just incredibly wasting your voice by just saying I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat and I am only going to vote this way. I think it's a complete waste of your time.
Yeah, no, what's the old cliche when it comes to it now? Because it is old. It's been 4 years of this shit, people. But it's the not all Trump voters are racist, but all racists are Trump voters. It's kind of like you see that guy and you go, well, look, what do you think about Joe Biden? And he would probably rattle off a couple things to you.
I'm going to say something that is potentially shocking, and you guys may not agree with me, but look, if you're looking for a party that is not racist, you're not going to find it in the United States. To be completely honest with you, the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, here's the thing, and I've discussed this with individuals that I work with, and people that I know. Look, and Trent, you can defend yourself if you'd like, but here's the situation.
Yeah.
Blacks in the United States make up 13% of the population. There is no cause by the Republican Party or the Democrat Party to ever really give any consideration or any acknowledgement to African Americans in this country. And not that they shouldn't. They should acknowledge all people in this country exactly equally. But because they only make up 13% of the potential electorate, it's all just mouth games. It's all words. It doesn't make any,
but look at what Stacey Abrams, Atlanta popped off in the whole Fulton County.
He's saying as far as like in general, like we're only 13%. They need our vote that much. Like it's all I mean,
they rather just forego even working on it.
Essentially, you're going to have Republicans and Democrats both basically saying that we want to be the party of the African American population, but they're not going to do anything to earn it. Democrats are the same way, and it's ridiculous. It's unfortunate, but blacks in this country continue to see their minority number drop because and if you're ever filling out an application for anything, they ask you, are you white, non-Hispanic, or white Hispanic? Because Hispanics, they count as whites.
Yep.
That blows my mind every time. And the Hispanic factor they want to know. I think that should not. I think that's horse shit. What does it matter?
It is.
In the end, what does it matter?
Well, so we still have to. And
I mean, then at the same time, with 13%, we spend the most.
Oh yeah,
we spend the most. Our dollar counts. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's because the value of a dollar for African Americans is far more than value of white Americans, because white Americans earn, with a high school diploma. I think the statistic is that a high school diploma white would still get picked for a job over a black male who has no criminal record, that has a college degree. They will still pick the white guy that doesn't have the college degree, potentially could even have a criminal record, and they would still potentially pick him over. And I'm not,
because that's Bill down the street.
I'm not, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to call out any hypocrisy or anything, but it's
fact. This is fact. You're speaking real facts. You're speaking facts.
But that's for me, that blows my mind. Like, for an example, Trent, was I ever scared to go anywhere when you and me and Dominique would go to a show? Did I ever go like, Trent, am I going to be okay? There's a bunch of black people in there.
No, I mean, but you had your dad's blood in you, so it was like he was fearless. You was fearless. You knew that you didn't have a racist bone in your body, and you knew you didn't have anything to worry about. And if every white person had that same mindset, the world would be a better place. If every white person knows that they know that if you know from what's right from wrong, no matter who you are or what you are, if you know that, then we won't have no problem. I mean, black people too is the same way. As long as we feel like, okay, black is black, but if you're black and you're doing something wrong, I'm gonna call you out. It's not just because I'm only gonna call.
It's because you're a person doing something wrong.
Yes, I'm gonna call you out. And I want you to understand why I'm calling you out. That's what it comes down to. So when we were going,
and it ain't because your skin, because you're doing making stupid fucking
places.
Yeah,
you knew what not to say. You wasn't coming in there saying N-word this, N-word that. Like, come on, you get what I'm saying? Like, people,
because it not have been dead.
Play dumb sometimes. Come on. Like, I didn't know. I thought we were all cool. Like, no, don't say. You get what I'm saying? So if it was like that, we wouldn't even bring you around. To be honest with you, because if you got to ask those questions,
we would not be friends.
Honestly,
are we cool where I can drop the N-word? Whoever says that.
No,
shit.
What?
It's never cool. There's no level of cool.
Yeah, no, it's never that cool. Like, I don't care who won what championship.
Never cool.
What happened?
We're bros, right? Why are you mad at me? Everybody's mad at me.
We could be bros for life, but come on, you know better.
Never cool. Yeah,
you know better than that.
My whole point in that is basically, look, both parties want to be inclusive to the African Americans in this country, but they don't want to do the work to actually show that they're ready for inclusion. They neither one of them. It's all talk, and that's completely unfortunate, because I would say that African Americans in this country, as a white guy, I'm fully acknowledging my race, that the African Americans in this country are continuously neglected under virtually every circumstance. And that I'm not saying that there aren't African Americans in this country that rise up to, being millionaires and being, highest levels of government and things like that. Clearly Barack Obama did it. Clearly Stacey Abrams almost became governor of the state of Georgia. She was this close, but
we literally got the polar opposite of governor in Georgia.
Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around that one.
Before it turned blue, it's really showing what's happening.
Oh, it's amazing that you're racist Brian Kemp. Yeah. You didn't. Your racist Republican governor Brian Kemp. Your whole state's blue. He has to be sitting there pissed off. Like, let Donald down.
Run again.
For sure.
Let Stacey run again, and that race is over.
2022.
Because now
that race is over now.
Georgia's
now they know,
because now all those people can vote for it.
Yeah. No, look what the state of Georgia did for the people who wanted to be progressive and change it. You turned Georgia blue.
Exactly.
I have as much a chance of starting like my own SpaceX and going to the moon as that had. Like Georgia,
you're right.
Georgia
at one point in time.
You watch.
Oh my God.
You watch. Yeah. What we are seeing is we are seeing a push across the southeastern states. Southeastern states. We are going to see North Carolina go blue eventually. We're going to see Florida go blue. We're going to see Georgia be blue. We are eventually going to see Louisiana be blue. Okay, these are states that are on the verge of making that transition, and it's
all up to Biden.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to do the right thing within the first. Like I said, these first 4 years are very vital. Very vital. Like, okay, let me see that minimum wage get raised to $15, and then see what happens. You get what I'm saying? Let me see you decriminalize marijuana and see what happens.
See,
like,
and
let me like federally, like you get what I'm saying? Like he has the power to do that.
The number of states that have either legalized or decriminalized drugs, and like Oregon, decriminalization of drug charges,
cocaine, heroin, all of it.
Acid. These
drugs, you can go there and trap. You can go there and trap in Oregon. Have Oregon's a music rap trap video. Like, come on, that is ridiculous. Like, I did, like, and at one point in time, I thought of that. I was like, yo, why don't they just say all drugs are just, you get what I'm saying? Like, if it's not a drug, then people won't get pulled over as much. Like, but I wasn't thinking a state was gonna actually do that.
Here's the thing.
Well, the reasoning behind doing it, even it was the reason it was put out there is for people in recovery to figure out a better way of dealing with recovery when it's done that way.
Yeah.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you. No, I was pointing at you. I was pointing at you.
It's actually a pot. It sounds like it's
see right now, Barry, you're right here to me.
Yeah,
you're right here to me.
That's Barrett. Right, there's Trent's right here. Barrett's right here.
Trent's right here. Yeah.
Trent, Barrett.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's more of a recovery thing. I would like to actually, maybe for the next episode, I want to look more into that and see what exactly the plan behind that is. Because at first, I'm like everybody else, like, oh well, everyone else. For one, Colorado just got one-upped. Yeah. Like Colorado's already had shrooms and stuff. Yeah, and then Oregon's like, hey, y'all hold my beer and my Xanax and my PCP and watch this. Like,
no,
yeah.
I'll be honest.
I was like, what?
I'll be honest with you. I think that a lot of it has to do with, especially with the decriminalization of drugs in this country. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that our prison system in the United States is purely populated mostly with drug.
It's stupid.
It is, but that is because the states the federal government has guaranteed to these corporations that run their prisons that as long as the corporations continue to run the prisons, that the federal government will make sure that there are still people funneling into these prisons. Honestly, I think that is ultimately the biggest reason for why we have not decriminalized across the country. But that's because we don't use prisons as a correction. We call them correctional institutions, but they aren't correctional institutions. They are purely prisons. They are modern day slavery, because we are also pimping out our prisoners to do jobs. Like I want to say at some point, I think
it's a concentration camp with only a sect of them are actually executed. And then the rest of you can do labor. If you're not a, what do they call a violent offender, you can go out and do labor. It's like a concentration camp.
They can go out and work at Lizard Thicket. They work at Lizard Thicket. They used to work at Ruby Tuesdays, like inmates.
I
knew. No, this is a real thing.
Wait.
100%.
Like for real?
100%.
I live right behind
Ruby
Lizard
Tuesday,
Thicket.
the one in Harbison. They used to drive. I know a person that used to work there from jail. They used to come pick him up and take him back. Like and like I knew somebody that would come see them because they knew they weren't supposed to be seen, but the manager was cool. So they would that's how they did their meetup. So literally he was
a guy who never had car trouble. A guy who never had car trouble. Always showed up for work.
No, always showed up for that. No, but it's the
every day. Always. I get what you're saying.
Look, he pulled up, and then he was that way.
The McDonald's on Harbison.
Male inmates in Lizard Thicket.
The McDonald's on Harbison had
female Harbison too?
That worked at that McDonald's on Harbison. Yeah. Yes, several days a week.
That's what I'm saying, dog. That's crazy.
Several inmates that worked at the McDonald's. Yeah. So okay. So we got off topic a little bit, but so
there's a lady with a mustache at the McDonald's near my house.
Chill out, man. Chill out.
I didn't know whether it was. I didn't ever see her name tag for a while, so I didn't know. I'm just said thank you. I want to be say thank you, ma'am, or thank you, sir.
Zach. Yeah, just leave it alone. Just leave.
Then it turned out I saw her name tag one day.
That's all you got to say.
And I was like,
"Don't look, hey, I'm gonna give you a key. I'm gonna give you a key factor. The hands.
No, bro.
Always look at the hands.
She had these kind of hands.
The hands is the key. Right. That's what I'm saying. The hands is the key. To let
it's
you
a
know.
lady.
Come on, man. We getting off.
She looked like Senior Chief. That's what she looked like. She looked like Senior Chief. That's an inside joke between me and Trent, but Trent knows. She looked just like Senior Chief, and I was like,
Hold on, you're talking about Senior Chief at Chapin High School.
You don't know. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just talking about Senior Chief's just a rank.
Okay, it's not. We're not talking about a specific Senior Chief at Chapin High School. And the
I'm just talking about
we can't be.
Okay, all right. Well, I was trying to follow.
Hey, shout out to Senior Chief, man. Anyway, look, you know what I'm saying? State championship ring, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I had a national championship one.
You know what I'm saying? State champion. I won one too, but I didn't get the ring. You gotta think about it, I didn't get the ring.
Oh, you weren't there.
I was there the same year.
All right. So back on topic. Today is November the 8th, 2020. Joe Biden won presumptively won the election yesterday. He did his speech last night, accepting the victory and whatnot, very graciously. I thought it was a great speech. I thought he did very well. One of the things that pointed out was how he appreciated all the poll workers. So I heard that. That was nice.
Trump wouldn't have done that.
No, of course not. No, he would have. He would have said how it was. I don't even know what he would have said. Honestly,
he would have said Trump would have walked out to Toby Keith. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about number one.
What I think, what I like, what I do, what I see.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about me. Oh, yeah. But occasionally,
I want to talk about me.
I think we all know that he would have walked out to YMCA again because for some reason, he's not catching the inside joke on that one, like at all.
Looks like he's dancing on an elliptical.
He hears young boys.
Maybe he is.
He hears young boys, and immediately I think he thinks, "No, it's this."
Yeah, that's the
way I dance.
No, that Trent used to have a dance back in the day. Yeah.
I've never had that dance.
Yeah, you did. You go, yes, I'm a dog. Look at
my God. You talking about that wasn't my dance. That was everybody's dance.
I only saw you do it.
That's all you do the whole time. Gucci, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gucci, man. You know what I'm saying?
And I thought Byron was a bad dancer. Here's Trent.
Get back on topic, man. We need to get back.
I woke up in case of the fuck arounds.
If you're listening to this podcast on one of the podcast platforms, please head over to YouTube. You're gonna have to see. You're gonna have to see this. If you're not watching us on Facebook right now, you're gonna have to see this. So
we're sorry.
What do you guys think is going to happen from this point? What do you think? Let's say recounts be damned. It doesn't matter. Biden is the winner. Do you think there is any point in the next 2.5 months that we're going to see a concession speech from Donald Trump? No.
I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I said, no, he's not going to say anything. He's going to walk out of the White House. He's not going to wave at no cameras. He ain't going to say anything. He's actually going to make it to the plane before Melania. See, Melania will be like 10 feet back. He'll just one on the little copter to go. I don't believe he's going to say anything, but I don't also believe he'll leave quietly at all.
He's gonna piss in, man.
Like I don't think he'll just be leaving. I think he'll wait till he's making sure all the lawsuits can't get taken through or he actually leaves.
That's irrelevant. That doesn't matter. They'll put proceedings against him no matter what he physically decides to do. I don't think he'll concede. I don't think he will. He's not humble. He will never. He'll piss and moan until the day he dies. Which, sure. Okay, I'm not gonna say that, but he'll piss and moan until the day he dies about how it was unfair and it was not. It was rigged against him, and he'll even kick the podium. If he does not have the in White House visit, the transition meeting and stuff like that, if he does not show up for the swearing in ceremony, like the passing of torches, Obama showed up and this man sat here and shit on him all the time.
Said he wasn't.
All right, so
the whole time.
So anytime that past presidents are invited to come to said event or said thing, you are no longer invited. You could not be cordial and do what every president in this nation's history has done.
Yeah.
You don't get to, then you're not going to play. You don't get to come. You're not invited anymore. And if you show up, you're going to be turned away at the door.
Yeah.
Will this be the first time the Secret Service has to kick the president out?
It wouldn't be the Secret Service that has to do it.
No, it would be the Marshal Service. The Marshal Service is who would actually pull the president. He would pull. The Marshal Service would be the ones that actually pull the Donald Trump. The previous president. They will be the ones that would escort him out of the building. And there is a good possibility that if he makes it all, if he actually holds his office all the way through. See, this is going to sound crazy, and I get it, but these are crazy times. So I have a feeling that he will, in order to try and get out of any potential crimes that he could be potentially convicted of by the federal court system, I feel like there's a possibility within a short period of time prior to the inauguration and his handing over power, I feel like there's a possibility that he will resign, that Pence will pardon him for any crimes that have been committed and any future crimes that he might commit, because that is within a president's potential.
That's a bingo, because they even said it was a joke, but there was a comedian and a Brent Terhune. He was talking about Biden's going to be the 46th president, and he goes, "Well, I should probably say 47th because if Trump." If he does that, if he makes Pence president because he knows he's screwed and needs a good pardoning to come his way, he's got his boy to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're the courts, hold off on the charges until Pence isn't in office anymore.
See, that's the thing, is you have to make
it's an easy game to play, in my opinion.
But see, Pence.
So do you think if he does that? Oh, go ahead.
Trent.
I was just going to say the potential is, I think.
Oh, okay. So if he does that,
we keep going. You go for it.
I'm coming in late.
You're good. Go.
It gets quiet, and then I'm like, it's not coming through. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, do you think if he prematurely does that, it will make him look suspicious?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Well, it'll and honestly, see, at that point, I'm curious as to what sort of situation will play out, because if Pence becomes president through Trump's resignation, Pence knows that he's got to know, and he's got to have people that are advising him that if he pardons Trump for his crimes previous and future, that there is the potential that it will ruin any possibility of Pence ever running for president, because Pence wants to run for president one day. He won't run this year. He can't run this year. He may not run in 2024, but 2028, Pence may be the leader of the Republican Party, in the sense that he would be he would be the presumptive nominee coming into 2028, potentially even 2024. That's possible. But if he pardons Trump for crimes that he has committed, then that means that they are acknowledging that he has committed crimes that need pardoning. The only potential at that point is that the state of New York, the Southern districts, the state of New York, could potentially go after Trump in the end with any of these other crimes that he has committed, the state of New York basically could be the one that sends him to prison, state prison, jail, whatever. So, honestly, I think that that would be the situation that could potentially make, unless they just saw it as another witch hunt, but that might be the situation that's required in order to finally pull these Trump supporters in and say, look, he was clearly a criminal. Not only are we can you now acknowledge that he was a criminal, but we have him being pardoned for crimes that he committed. How much more evidence do you need? But does Pence do it? Because if Pence does it, then that undoes any potential of him ever running for the office. Honestly,
well, I'm right there with you, because listen, Pence, no one's pardoning anybody at the pearly gates. There ain't no pardoning for that. So if you do this, Jesus is watching.
Yeah.
Paula White's watching. I don't know if anybody watched Paula White's video, bringing in the angels from Africa. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
That psychopath evangelical woman. She's like,
no.
I hear victory. I see victory. I smell victory. It's victory. Angels are coming down. Angels are coming down. Angels from Africa are coming over. That's that shit that needs to get out of the White House right now, because that is completely of what Trump's circle is made of. And they made that. There was again a comedian who made a joke, but like the 2 times it was SNL, the 2 times that Trump has ever talked to Pence was when he got the call from Trump and he said, I can't believe the evangelicals are making me pick you to be the VP and stuff like that. And then the other time, what was the other one, Barrett? What was the other time you heard from him?
I don't know, but
coronavirus. It's yours now.
Yeah. But the first one was a wrong number.
Yeah.
He was like, I cannot believe these evangelicals are making me pick. Oh crap, Pence. Sorry.
You're my VP. Yeah. No, coronavirus. Yours now.
Yeah. Yours.
So can he still run for president?
Yes.
He could.
Okay. Say for instance that he could still run another 8 years, is what you're saying.
He could
if
run,
that happened.
No, he could. He could only be elected to one more.
So now he can only do 4. So that's what happens. I didn't know
if he does not have federal charges levied against him that he is convicted for.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. President.
No. I'm saying we're talking about Pence. I'm talking about Pence now. I'm saying if Pence.
Oh no, yeah,
if Pence becomes president, he can still do 8 years after.
Trent Biden was vice president for 8
runs
years.
Again.
Yeah. Pence could run for election and then run for re-election. But see, here's the thing.
Okay.
That when honestly, we're talking about Trump, who's 70, 74, 75 years old. 4 years from now, he'll be 79. And if he were to run again, I ultimately I think that this is going to be his demise. I honestly feel like we're going to see, if we continue to even hear from Trump, I can't imagine a situation where he even stays in the country. Like I feel like it's one of those situations where he will resign his office on plane en route somewhere else, so that he doesn't have to worry about stepping off of a plane into federal custody or into state custody. I mean, honestly,
he'll live like Snowden in Russia for a while,
right? Or honestly,
he's going straight to Russia, man.
You think he's going?
He's going straight to Russia.
Russia doesn't have any.
He's going straight to Russia.
I figure he'll go to Saudi Arabia.
I mean, but I don't think they'll ship him out if something comes down. Like,
no, of course not.
Let me put this in here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the real problem. Trump Jr. is going to be the real problem.
You think so?
Trump Jr. running for president with his father coming out and backing him. That could be a problem.
I see. That's the other thing.
You think that's a real?
I honestly,
I think he's too angry.
Absolutely.
His father does hate speech, but he does hate speech.
He does stupid spec. He is. I think that is the most dangerous thing that can come from Trump losing. Because I'm with Barrett. I think he's too old. I don't think he really wanted it. I don't think he likes losing. Is the thing. I don't know if he necessarily. If there was a way out, if he served 4, he would just be boasting right now about like how great it was all his 4 years. He didn't lose anything, but how he would just be crapping on the next guy who just won.
Sure.
That kind of thing. But if Junior can run at some point, if he decides that, I think that could be a real danger, honestly.
I can't imagine a situation where Donald Trump would come out and throw his support behind anyone other than himself, even his own kids. Like
Junior, I mean, he's not going to do it for the other one, the Eric.
He still ain't hugged him, the other one, right?
He ain't got a hug in like 20 years. He's just like, Dad, I need one. Yeah, now.
Dad,
I need one.
Dad,
Come on,
right
Dad.
Here.
One is like a dream come true. Two, didn't expect that from you.
3, you know it's plain to see. You're the only dad for me.
Oh my God! No more.
We can do this. No, we're gonna make this happen.
We can do it. We can't sync it up. Is what we can't do.
No, we can't.
Eric Trump's love song to his father.
We'll do it. We'll talk.
Middle school slow dance.
We'll talk to Dominique, see if he won't let us in the studio to record. Let you guys record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that time, Zach.
Yeah.
Zach can't do too many more of these Zoom meetings. He's disturbing the baby with his loud laughs and stuff. You're gonna have to leave.
A loud laugh. At least she knows me.
At least she knows me.
That's my dad.
All right. Well,
laughing his ass off.
We'll start to wrap this up. But so within the next couple of weeks, we're gonna see all of the totals be finished out. We're gonna see some recounts. Ultimately, the reality is going to have to set in for Donald Trump at some point here in the next couple of weeks, probably before Thanksgiving. I don't have a whole lot of reason to think this, but I have a feeling that we are potentially going to see some sort of concession out of him. He's going to blame somebody for it. He's not going to take the blame himself, but I do believe. Look, I also need to say this, and this is for the potential evangelicals that are listening or watching right now. Look, you've been duped. Okay. I need people to understand and just accept the fact that you've been duped. President Donald Trump is not an evangelical. He's barely Christian. No. You all have been duped into believing this man is one of you, one of us. He's not. And ultimately, enough of the country recognize that to say, we don't want him to represent this country. Look, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Islamic or you're Hindu or whatever it is that you claim as your religious foundation, you need to understand Trump is not a part of that. Donald Trump has no existence and he has nothing to hold on to when it comes to Christianity. Okay. There is also this idea that he is pro-life. Look, honestly, everyone.
He wasn't.
Well, so here's the thing. To claim that you're pro-life, it's fantastic. And I appreciate it because I consider myself to be pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice in the sense that it's not my business. Okay. I will say fundamentally, I am against abortion. The idea of abortion sickens me, and it breaks my heart that somebody would potentially make that choice. But it's not my choice, and it should still be their choice. It should be a woman's choice for what she has to go through with a pregnancy, the potential outcome. It should be their choice. But I will say this. I am not in favor of the government paying for abortions in the sense of them being elective. If it's medically necessary and you have Medicaid or you're on Medicare or you have some sort of government insurance, then I get it. I have no issue with it. But if it's coming to us, if it's a choice that's made as an elective because you just don't want to be pregnant, I don't want the government to pay for it. It should still be your choice. It should not be illegal. But Donald Trump was never anti-abortion. In no circumstance was he ever pro-life in the sense that you think you are. Okay. This is a fact. Okay. He has had multiple radio interviews and television interviews where he has expressed that he is pro-choice. And in some cases, he may have been pro-abortion. There are rumors that he has paid for abortions, not only for himself, but also for his 2 sons. So this idea that Donald Trump is in the same standard of beliefs that you potentially are as an evangelical Christian in this country, he's not. And you've been duped. And it's okay. We've all been duped before, right? I mean, it's happened. But don't think that he holds some value that he doesn't. There is no cause for the anger that's going to come out of Joe Biden's election. There is no Joe Biden is a Catholic. Catholics fundamentally are against abortion. But Joe Biden accepts the fact that there may be potential issues or situations that fall outside of the realm of his responsibility to try and force someone to do something that they don't want to do. Hence pro-choice. That's all it is.
And I would like to add to that. For one, I am pro-choice. Not everybody on all about nothing does not always agree on things. I am 100% pro-choice, and I understand there's such a myriad of situations that can arise. I do believe that there's a limit to it, but again, like Barrett's saying, not my choice, not my body. Evangelicals, Muslims, Jews, religion in general, you also need to understand that this is a secular government, that this is not a theocracy. Religion will never rule, and that's how all religions will prosper in this country, is that it doesn't make
which is
rules.
funny you say that.
It's a fair slate.
Yeah.
It's only funny that you say that because you said religion will never run the country, but
it's what it's doing right now.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Like Trump holding up that Bible meant something.
Right.
That's why Barrett is saying what he's saying, because certain things that he's doing mean something to certain people. So It's like when you're playing with that, that's very dangerous territory.
Absolutely.
Very dangerous territory.
And again, if that was not a point of contention, he wouldn't have done it, right?
Exactly.
He wouldn't have gone out there to do that.
Exactly.
And there's a separation of church and state. This is a secular government. It needs to stay that way.
Yeah.
You can't have no one would like a president who is like they claimed Obama was, that would be Islamic, and it'd be like, oh, Allah, and their, many people's heads would explode if someone thanked Allah in their acceptance speech. It would be insane, right? But it's no different.
It's just right? They have the right.
They do.
Exactly. They have that right.
Absolutely do. You do.
All right.
That's just what comes down. Like what you're saying. Like when he couldn't walk outside the White House and hold the Bible.
Right.
That's why he said he had to go to the church.
Right.
And hold up the Bible, because like you said, he had to make sure that they know church and state are separated. Right. He wasn't going to do that on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
He did that at the church.
And that was found, that was the separation of church and state was Thomas Jefferson, who wrote a letter to the Baptists. It's some sort of Baptist. I cannot remember the name of the letter, but that's what did that. And then John Adams also, with talks to Muslim nations, also said this isn't a country founded on any kind of principle of religion. It is what it is. You can be religious and that's what this country's about. And the only way that you're going to have freedom of religion or freedom to not have religion is to be secular.
You got to let people live.
You got to let people be people and not control the government by having one type of religion control all of it. That's the whole reason we left. The Pilgrims left England was to come over here because they were being prosecuted for their beliefs. Right. And now we have a place where you're free to practice anything you believe. And I believe everyone who's religious should do that. But the government needs to stay out of it.
It doesn't.
Stay out of religion.
I don't know, but I do. But you say they need to stay out of it, but I do believe churches should pay more than what they pay as far as
sure. More than nothing.
Churches are. I think they don't pay anything.
Absolutely.
So if think about that money that's coming through the churches, like that, like some people actually live by the tithing thing and actually pay 10% of what they make every week when they go to church. So just think about all that money and where is it going? You get what I'm saying? Like if that was actually coming back into the community that these people are from, and that's what the church they want. Like,
did y'all you're absolutely right, Trent. Did you see that Joel Osteen now has a fucking Joel Osteen Alexa? Did you see that? I thought it was a joke. I had no idea what I was watching. I kid you not. This bastard will wake you up and talk about Jesus and give you a thing to. What? It's a Joel Osteen Alexa.
It's not just an app. It's an actual piece of hardware.
Please. Oh no, it's a speaker. It might as well be Joel Osteen's face, like Chucky. Like,
is it in the shape of a cross?
No, it literally looks. It's spherical. It looks like a little Alexa, dude. We were watching. It came on CNN, which for one, I was like, well, I thought I was like, I fell asleep and woke up with like an SNL commercial.
He knew it was going to be some eyes there that day. He knew it was going to be some eyes there that day. Some Christian eyes looking at the pole.
Dude, what an absurd thing. I wake up and let Joel Osteen give you today's scripture. I can't open my eyes because I'm so full of shit that it'll pour out. Peace be with you. Yeah, I can't. It blew my mind.
I will just say this. Zach did text me during the election day and asked me if I saw any Proud Boys. I didn't see anyone carrying a firearm. I didn't see anyone dressed in military garb. It didn't happen at my location.
You wasn't at the end of the line. That's what it was. You in the back of the line where the people were trying to cross the road. That's where the Proud Boys was coming through.
Nobody is open carrying at the election booth.
Yeah.
You know, and they wear the tactical vest with the patches. Then you order like rainbow patches when they're not looking. You pat them on the back and like slap a rainbow patch on it.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. Reptar King of the Ozone, man.
That is a great shirt. Yeah. That is a great shirt. That is an awesome shirt.
Yes. Thank my girlfriend. Thank you, Nikki.
Rugrats.
Came through. You see him at the bottom.
Rugrats. Trent out here looking just like Chucky.
Fellas, I appreciate the time tonight. We got Trent Clark, we got Zach King, Barrett Gruber. That is going to do it for the All About Nothing podcast. Make sure, first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure that whatever platform you're on, please subscribe, rate, and review us. Also, make sure that if you haven't already, you get your. We only have a few more weeks left to do this, but make sure you get into us. Your Leave It in 2020s because we're definitely gonna make a mockery of this list. It is growing. I think there's probably about 15 things on it so far. So it's great.
Barrett, you should take all those and put them on cut them up and put them on cardboard paper and make them reefs, little ornaments for trees.
Oh wow, man, that'd be a dope idea. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Idea.
But hey, and honestly, last week we did mention we did sort of talk about, or we did hint at some merchandise potentials, maybe some t-shirts, some sweatshirts, things like that. That is something we're working on, so we will potentially have something like that available here soon. So just as a heads up, so save your money. That is going to do it. Again, thank you very much, Trent Clark. Zach
Leaving 2023.
There you go. Leaving 2023. There you go. Perfect. All right, fellas. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great week. We are out.
Have a week.
All right, fellas.
Hello.